WDXE News, on the air since 1951. This is The Legend. 105.3, 95.3, WDXE.
That's us, WDXE. It's time for the Friends and Neighbors Hour, which is brought to you by Hood Company Real Estate Services, powered by Keller Williams. That happens to be my little place of business.
I saw you there.
Did you see me there?
Yeah.
Anyway, and Keith Durham's in the house, and of course we've been talking about it all morning. I didn't have a guest, but you volunteered right off the bat this morning with very short notice. You volunteered to come in, and I appreciate you doing that.
No problem.
Thank you, man.
No problem.
Because I wanted to just basically have a free for all.
Yeah, I'm all for that.
I'm thinking it'd be fun just to talk with anybody and everybody about anything and everything.
Yeah, what's on your mind?
What's on your mind? What's out there? What are we doing? I had a call earlier this morning from one of my friends who mentioned our street conditions in Lawrenceburg.
And of course, goodness!
We could complain about this, that, and the other, but his thinking was, okay, well, are we short on funds? Is there some reason that they're not being maybe as maintained as we would like to see them? That kind of thing. Of course, the big thing going on right now, right through the middle of town, is they're resurfacing. Of course, that's a state highway.
Yep.
The state highway is being resurfaced right through the middle of town, and I guess it's about time. It was kind of rough.
So I mean, we can start there. I got a.
And you've got some experience.
Oh
with
my
this.
goodness.
Yeah.
A little bit. So, I was tickled to death to drive down North Locust. I guess it was maybe 2 weeks ago, and I thought, wow, they're finally fixing those potholes. And they've got them fixed and they're smooth. And then the next week they came and dug the whole road up. I'm like, who got the contract to put that stuff down and then get it all smoothed out? And then they come dig it right back up. I thought, wow, it's awesome. But,
well, it takes a lot of planning to do it just like that.
I think there was like two sides of the planning table, and one side was planning one thing and the other side was planning another.
That seems to always happen, though. If we resurface Springer Road, then
That's
we
exactly right.
dig up some pipes or something. It seems to happen every time.
Get the jackhammer crew out,
I wonder why that is. I mean, and I know it's not done on purpose, but I mean, it happens.
So, a lot of the infrastructure inside the city has been there for years and years.
Yeah.
And I can say that from experience. I've been in the seat before, and the infrastructure that's under the ground. Go ahead, mate. Somebody's got to weigh in on this, and I'll expand on this in just a minute.
I don't know if he can weigh in on this or not, but good morning. You're on WDXE with us.
Good morning again.
Yeah.
Hey, this is Bobby again down here from Pensacola, Florida.
Yeah.
Hey, I work with the fire department down here, and it just come across my scanner from Alabama. Did y'all hear about the accident up there on I-65 just past Buc-ee's, the truck stop?
No, what happened there?
Yeah, apparently all of I-65 is shut down. They got an oversized tanker truck turned over up there.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah, he's full of syrup, and the state troopers got everybody sticking to the inside lane.
Hey, this is old joke day.
Yeah, it's old joke day, and you just pulled one on us.
So,
y'all have a good day.
So, Bobby, you had me scared there for a minute because
what in the world?
I work for Edwards Oil Company, and we run tankers down that road, and all I'm thinking about is, oh my goodness, if we had a tanker accident this morning, and
a good syrup tanker accident would be fun. As long as nobody
only if you had like a bag of biscuits or something, go out there and sop it up.
Oh my gosh. All right, so I'm going to guide you back.
Okay, back to the roads.
Yeah, so it seems to happen.
Yeah.
That we resurface or repave a road, and then, oh my dog, we got to dig up some of it because there's a leak or there's something wrong.
Yeah. So what you don't think about, and let me put it in perspective for you. So, like on an airplane, they have to. I never thought about this before of the effect of it. But they sometimes when you see airplanes and there's a lot of metal on it, it's because they're trying to reduce the weight. And you're thinking, why is, they don't want to paint it because the paint has weight. And we don't think about things like that.
Yeah.
But when you think about it, and if you had to put 4 or 5 50-gallon drums of paint on a airplane, that's heavy. And it's dispersed out, but it's heavy.
Uh-huh.
Same thing happens on a road. we don't think about the weight that we're putting on top of it.
That's true.
And so if you don't go in there and reconstruct the road from the ground up or put the utilities in new while you're doing it, the weight that's put on top of it is just tremendous. And so, and it starts to collapse those utilities, especially at the points where they were joined, had taps into them. And so, like let's take Springer Road, for instance. You can pay Springer Road, and then all of a sudden they're up there digging it up. That's because, well, the new weight of the new road that got put on there has now separated a joint going into somebody's house, and they've got a leak. And the only way to fix it is to dig it up. And, we done it to ourselves years ago in the city of Lawrenceburg because we put our utilities in the middle of the road. Most planned communities now, and going forward, even in the city of Lawrenceburg, it's my understanding that the utilities have to be on the side of the road or in the sidewalks. Mm-hmm. So they're building a subdivision next to where I live, and that's exactly what's going on. All the utilities are going on the sidewalks and on the side of the road, not down the middle of the road.
Yeah.
So and that's an ideal case because you
starting from scratch.
Yeah, you may never have to dig that road up, because of a utility issue.
That's interesting.
Yeah. And so it takes a lot of planning to do that. The problem is we live in a city that's been here for over 100 years, over 200 years almost.
Well, yeah, of course, when the city began, didn't have any utilities.
That's right. So where do you put them? Let's put them down the middle of the road.
Let's put them this way because, it kind of made sense to do that, I guess, at the time.
Yeah, I mean, the alternative is you got to go and take possession of people's property, which takes a long time and stuff like that. So
Yeah. We got somebody. We inviting the phone call, 766-9393. We got one. Good morning, buddy.
Hey, what's going on, boys?
Uh-oh.
Mr. Lanny, how are you?
I'm fine. Hey, I wanted to ask Keith, does the city of Lawrenceburg, do they have an engineer or somebody that really knows how to do these streets? I mean, you know.
Okay, so I'm going to, Lanny, the answer to that is yes, but, and I may get in trouble by saying this because the city engineer when I was there was also the engineer for Lawrenceburg Utility Systems. And I'm not saying that this happened, that they did it on purpose, but it seemed like that the plans they always presented to the city leaned in the favor of the utilities of not having to incur any expense, if that makes any sense. So let's take Springer Road, for instance. When I was mayor, Springer Road got resurfaced. And it didn't just get resurfaced. We had to mill it down, take out all the gravel, put 6 inches of gravel, 2 inches of base, actually 4 inches of base, 2 inches of asphalt on top of it, which was the foundations of a good road.
Yeah.
Well, if you notice at each intersection, there is a manhole cover there. And I'm saying, why would you not take off that manhole cover, shave it down or something? And I believe that they just spared the expense to the utility system because they are also the engineers to the utility system. And, that's my opinion. It was a learning curve for me. But, Lanny, to answer your question, yes, the state of Tennessee requires, and this is what really kills a lot of projects. If you have a project that's more than $25,000 in the city, you have to have it engineered. The state requires that. So you may have a project that you need to just do 40 feet of sidewalk or something like that, and then you've got to pay an engineer to say, okay, it's okay to do that, and and that wastes tax money to do that. So it's we need to change some stuff at the state level to allow cities to do what's right for them.
Well, that begs a question with me.
Okay.
The requirement that you just mentioned.
Yep.
The requirement that you just mentioned. Surely that wasn't something that was developed on the floor of the house. This had to be a bureaucratic decision.
Absolutely. It was I would say a bureaucratic type decision, but it also, you got those lobbyists up there, the folks that represent these engineers, they have a huge lobby up in the house. And so.
Interesting.
Yeah.
But Jeff and Keith, it seems like if they do have an engineer, they could do better when they do redo the streets. I mean.
Yeah, I agree. I agree with that, Laney. That's why I was saying that I believe, it's just my opinion now. I just believe, in my opinion, Springer Road turned out like it did because the engineer was not only the city engineer, but they was also the utility systems engineer, and they were trying to keep the utility system in mind too. To me, I would not want to be the engineer of that road and say, okay, here, I'm going to put this one in my repertoire somewhere and let people come look at it. You know what I mean?
That was done terrible.
Yeah, I agree. And even that was done when I was mayor, and it was nice when it first started, but I'm telling you, it just didn't, and in fact, if you remember, Lanny, we had problems out of that road really quickly, and I had them core drill it. I said, I want to see what you put down. And they core drilled it, and it was what they put down. But, you know, you got to also understand, too, is that, and I wasn't around, Lanny, you can probably shed some light on this, but pretty much in that Crowder Field area up there, it was farmland, you know, is the hard pan's way down probably. So.
Oh, I can remember when it was a big farm all up through there.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I probably picked cotton in some of them fields.
Yeah.
I've been told by some of the old timers that Lawrenceburg was built on some of the best farmland in the county.
Yeah.
Oh, I agree. It was.
Yeah.
Hey, thank you, man.
Yeah, no problem. Thanks, Lanny.
Lanny. Appreciate
hey,
you,
Lanny,
buddy.
by the way.
Hold on.
He can probably hear me on the radio, too. But, Lanny, by the way, I drove by the Amish lane up there, and
Well, you know,
they must be on vacation. Lanny's corporation must be on vacation because there's
well, see, now, Lanny's talking about that since he's been in charge of that lane up there, Lanny, they done a good job on it.
Well, I drove by one day, and it was piling up pretty high, and I thought, well, they must be off or on strike.
Every once in a while, you get a pooper scooper strike.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, how much do you get paid to do that?
So yeah, but anyway, a lot happening. I'll say this, and I don't know. I didn't want to turn this into any kind of complaint session.
Sure,
you know, that kind of thing. But I've had some folks that have moved in here, putting in businesses and doing some things that have asked our LUS for things that have been, and they have said to me that they've been very difficult to work with.
Oh, wow.
So
I would be interested in that conversation.
Anyway, hey, good morning. You're on Trading Post.
Jeff,
I'm sorry. You're on the radio.
Since y'all talking about the horse hockey lane, it was the state refused our contract.
Oh.
They turned us down.
Oh.
I don't know whether all the board members know that or not, but they won't let us go up there and get that stuff up.
Oh.
And I've got I had Lowe's and Home Depot and all calling and writing, wanting to sell this stuff.
Yeah. Well, Lanny, you did all you could, but
I did all I could.
You did all you could, but the state just ain't going to let us have it. Is it?
That happens a lot.
A new bunch in there in the house and stuff. Maybe we can
Well, here's the thing.
Try again.
Here's the thing. Our state representatives and our state government, they have all the horse hockey to themselves.
That's
I like that.
They got plenty of it.
Thank you, buddy.
Thank you.
I couldn't resist.
That was perfect. Good segue.
I couldn't resist.
Good segue.
Anyway, it is the Friends and Neighbors Hour, and we're inviting phone calls. We want to hear from anybody that's got anything they want to talk about. 766-9393. The horse hockey lane needs an engineer.
Exactly. So I don't understand the comment about the LUS has given issues to people wanting to, I guess, develop or redevelop or something like that. Do you have any specifics or anything that I can?
A particular remodel that needs to go on. They wouldn't give them power until they had a certain amount of stuff done, and they needed power to get the remodeling started.
Oh, so they're in a catch-22 then.
In a catch-22. So they're having to use a generator
to
actually have electricity to work on the project that they need to work on, because the power wouldn't be given.
So, I only had one snafu with
that was one thing.
LUS. When I built my house, I was sort of my own contractor, if you will. I didn't have a crew come in and build it. I mean, we had a crew come in and build it, but we were sort of overseeing it. But what we didn't know is, when you're building a house and you have a temporary service going in there, it's on a commercial rate. You pay commercial rate for that.
Yeah.
And so, 2 or 3, I guess it was maybe 10 years into it, I'm like, man, my power bill can't be this high. So I had them look into it, and I said, well, you're paying commercial rate at your house. And I've been paying it ever since I moved in. I mean, I didn't know that you got to go down there and say, hey, I'm moving in my house, change it to residential rate.
Well, I'm going to ask this question, but I think I know the answer. Did they reimburse you?
No, they don't reimburse in cash, but they did credit for like a year or so. I don't know what it was. They gave credit for a year, but still, that was, I mean, oh my goodness. I'm like, how are you supposed to know that rule? It wasn't written on the wall anywhere. It was, well, if you're a contractor and you build houses, you know it. And I said, well, I guess you're right.
I guess so.
So
phone lines here open 766-9393. Keith Durham's in the house with me, and we're just talking with friends and neighbors and about anything and everything. I mentioned earlier, and Lanny mentioned this to me, and I don't remember this. It seems like I vaguely remember this, but we used to have a program called High School Heroes. Do you remember? Do you know anything about that?
You know, I have. I've heard of it it was in the near past also. So
I think he told me it stopped at COVID.
It probably did.
It stopped when they had COVID.
Yeah.
And they haven't started back evidently. And so anyway,
I can't remember who they honored there. Was it teachers or was it students? I believe it was students.
I think it was students or graduates, from any of our high schools that had, went on to achieve something significant or something like that.
Yeah, they didn't do like Fred Thompson one year.
They probably did. They probably did. And
Michael Jeter maybe.
Lanny mentioned to me that one of our high school graduates many years ago went on to become the CEO or the head of MGM Studios.
Really?
That's
okay. That had to be back in the Ivan Johnson days, because I know Ivan had a Hollywood connection.
Yeah, I don't know. Somebody out there may know who that was, and we'd like to know. We'd like to know who that was and when it was. Yeah, he had mentioned that one of our high school graduates from Lawrence County, I guess Lawrence County, or one of the high schools here, became at the very top of MGM Studios.
We were making a list. The list would probably be pretty extensive of people who graduated and went and done some fantastic stuff,
Yeah, went on to big things.
Yeah.
Like you.
No, not really.
Yeah.
Like, I'm thinking of Barry Hogues. Barry, Secret Service has been in the limelight for last week or so, but he drove the president. He was in Secret Service.
Oh, really?
Yeah, absolutely.
Oh, that's interesting. The Secret Service. We talking about that. Hey, buddy.
Hey, I hate to keep bothering y'all. That was a Mr. Stanfield. I can't remember his first name.
Stanfield.
Graduated Lawrence County High School, went on to be the head of MGM Grand in Hollywood.
How about that? A Stanfield.
Years and years.
I may Google that.
He couldn't come to the banquet they had because he was a little over 90 and his doctors wouldn't let him travel.
How about that?
But he had there's somebody represented him. I don't remember who it
Stanfield. He became head of MGM Studios. How about that?
That's right.
That's neat.
And listen, there's scientists, there's doctors and stuff in this county that went to some of these high schools. Loretta had some, Summertown had some.
Yeah.
And it's a great thing. I mean, some of these is really, really important.
Well, I wonder where is there anywhere that these honors are kept, a list of these high school heroes that we might access?
Well, I'm sure there's a list that I'm trying to get some of them now. I know about some of them, but I don't know all of them.
That'd be interesting.
There were some tremendously important people in this world.
Yeah.
From Lawrence County.
Yeah, maybe somebody can help us find that list of those that have been honored with high school heroes.
Jeff, call me sometime. I can tell you, put somebody on that can help you.
That sounds good. Thank you. I'll do it.
Absolutely.
Lanny, thank you, man. All right. And again, the lines are open, 766-9393. It's also Old Joke Day.
Yeah, we've already heard one. The syrup on the highway joke.
We wouldn't mind anybody, as long as it's a clean joke.
Yeah.
Okay, we are live on the air. It's a family show, we like a good joke.
If you've got Tubi or what's the other TV the free TV? I can't think
Hulu?
of. No, it's this free. But anyway, they've got they got these classic channels on there, and one of them is the Johnny Carson channel. And
yeah.
I love that old.
Oh, yeah, I do
those
too.
old type of humor. It's really fun.
I do too. I find clips sometimes just on YouTube or wherever of some of the old Carson stuff, and gosh, that was just good television back in the day.
Oh yeah.
Carol Burnett too.
Oh yeah.
Loved Carol Burnett. I couldn't wait for the Carol Burnett show. And of course, when I was
Harvey
really,
Korman was probably one of the funniest people on TV.
oh yeah, he was. And when they would get tickled, it was even more fun.
Oh yeah, they didn't hide it either. That's what I like.
That was just fun.
Yeah.
And of course, even this was before your time, but
Uh-oh.
I got a text message. Never mind. I can't know if I say that or not.
Well.
It's talking about an old joke.
Oh, okay.
Anyway, Paul, you're going to get me in trouble. Anyway, what was I telling? Oh, before your time.
Yeah, before my time.
One of my favorite people in the world way back when was Red Skelton.
Yeah, he was a little bit before me.
Yeah,
I know who he is.
He
though.
was before you, but
Yeah.
I loved Red Skelton. Of course, he was a clown, and I love clowns.
Yeah.
He would carry on. There was Clem Cadiddlehopper and Freddie the Freeloader. I mean, it was just stuff. And, of course, I look at it now. I watch it now, and it seems a little corny and hokey.
Seems a little juvenile, but that's okay.
But back in the day, man, I couldn't wait for the Red Skelton hour to come on.
Oh, wow. Yeah, I don't think, I can't remember the Red Skelton Hour, but I know who he is. I've seen him perform and stuff.
I remember he made an appearance as an older man on the Johnny Carson show.
Okay.
And he would do things like he would act out things silently, and you'd know what he was doing. Like pouring a drink and doing. He would just do little funny stuff, that kind of thing. But on the Johnny Carson show once, he imitated bacon.
How do you do that?
He laid down on the floor and began to fry. And of course, he just started wiggling his legs and this, that, and the other, and then wiggled up, and then he just curled up into a little, and just curled and shrunk up. And I thought that was one of the funniest things I ever.
Oh, that is funny.
He imitated frying bacon. Won't forget it. Anyway.
Well, nobody wants to talk to us about stuff going on.
I don't know. We don't know. I mentioned the very first drive-through.
Yeah.
And found it. And
Yeah.
It was in Springfield, Missouri. 1947 is what it was. I think that's.
Yeah, I think that's what you said.
Well, then it made me think. Well, where and when was the very first drive-in movie?
We had one here.
We did have. Well, there were in lots of small towns all over.
Some of those still exist, I guess, don't they?
There's a few still around. I think there may be one, and I haven't seen it in years, but not too many years ago, there was one in Lewisburg, or near Lewisburg.
Okay.
And I don't know if it's still in existence or not. There was a plan in place to put one here not too long ago, but it kind of fell apart
The utility systems wouldn't run power out there because. I mean, we're gonna have a talk with the utility systems. My goodness.
No, but I knew a person, a local business person who had plans to do that, but after further study, it just wasn't economically feasible. It didn't look like it was going to work out. But boy, there was a big plan there at one time.
Yeah.
And I thought that's going to be so neat. But anyway, I kind of understand. It was a big investment.
So, we've been talking about developing things, and in the role that I'm in now at Edwards Oil Company, I do project planning and stuff, and so we're planning to build a couple new stores.
Yeah.
One to replace an existing store, and then a brand new one from ground up, and so they're on our front burner, but they're on like the cities that we're building them in. They're on their back burner. So you just talk about all the things you got to go through. So we're wanting to put a location down in Muscle Shoals, and we're ready to go. We'd like to get the thing built and have it done by the end of the year. But the state of Alabama says, well, you got to have a traffic impact study here done before you can do it. And so you got to hire engineers to do a traffic impact study. And so I got a hold of an engineering firm in Huntsville and they've agreed to do it, then they come back and they say, well, the state of Alabama requires traffic impact studies to be done while school is in session.
Yeah.
So now that is going to be the last part of August before I can get a traffic impact study done and then get it on paper and get it presented. And it's just, it takes a while. And City of Columbia is the same way. We want to build a new store in the City of Columbia. And they told us,
I've heard horror stories about people trying to do stuff in Columbia.
It is a horror story up there. So their new deal is that if you have any new construction going on, they want you to build it backwards. They want you to put the back of the building to the road, and they want us. Their ideal situation is they want us to put the back of the store to the road and put the pumps behind the store. But they want you to make the back of the store look like the front of the store. I'm like, why don't you just make it the front of the store and be done with it, you know?
So what is their logic behind this?
I don't know. And they got a building going up now. I don't know if there's a new gas station going in on Trotwood, south of, you know where the new NHC is on Trotwood.
But is that you? Is that
No,
it's somebody different?
Yeah, that's a different pair. And they're building theirs the right way because they got in before the new ordinance. All right.
Okay.
So they got their plans in before the new ordinance was adopted, so they can build the correct way.
Yeah.
But the place across the street from them, which is a strip mall, didn't. So if you go up there, this strip mall is backwards, and the parking lot is behind it, and the front doors are behind, and I don't know, and it's completely empty. So, you know, what kind of planning idea is that? I don't know where they come up with that at or whatever, but, you know, as a developer, why would you want to build your building backwards?
That makes no sense. I mean,
exactly.
I'd like to know what the logic is. I really
There's
would.
no logic. I mean, I can't figure it out. But, you know, whenever you have a municipality that, and I don't want to say anything derogatory because they've been gracious, but they just got a set of rules they got to go by, you know.
Mm-hmm.
But, you know, if your municipality says we want your business to grow and we want you to be able to sustain your business, oh, and by the way, if you're going to grow your business, you got to turn it backwards. You know, that's oxymoronic right there. You know, it's detrimental to business, and so we're sort of fighting that battle now. And so hopefully we have found some places inside their ordinance that's going to let us do what we want to do. So that's sort of what I'm doing on a day-to-day basis right now.
I'm getting some text messages from friends that and I guess I need to see if there's anybody chatting on the line here. Let's see.
Yeah.
No.
Nothing
there. But from my phone, let's see. Are the developers that are putting in the 2 multi-hundred home developments in Lawrenceburg having to pay for impact studies?
I don't know of any. So I don't know of any. You talking about inside Lawrence County, or I had to be more specific about that. I don't know of any. I do know that right next to my house, there's a subdivision going up, and there's going to be 33 houses there.
Right.
And that's Brad Slater doing that.
Right.
And
that's
my
been
knowledge,
a long time in the works.
Yeah. To my knowledge, the city does not require a impact study.
An impact study.
No. But, you know, there's things that the city does have in place that mitigates impact, and that is detention. And you probably have been involved in this. You know, some of the developers, they don't want to do detention or retention.
The retention ponds for water.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And so if you look at the development that's going next to my house, they've got a huge detention area over in my yard.
So you'll have a little fishing pond before long.
Well, it's turning out to be that way. Now, Brad is developing that property, and you know, that's the low point there. And they come and ask, could they? And I said, look, I'm not interested in selling it to you, but if you want to take a drainage easement on it, that's fine. Make it mowable. I'll mow it, keep it nice, and stuff like that. So that's what they done. Yeah.
Well, you know, I know some of the developers and some of the people that buy properties and of course invest in there's a risk reward kind of thing that goes on with any investment, whether it's commercial or residential, and you know, they don't build these things just to throw their money away. They're building with the idea that someone's going to occupy those places or buy those homes or come to that business.
Right.
And so a lot of times there's just a significant amount of thought and process and study that an investor makes
Yep.
to try to determine whether it's a good idea or not.
The upfront costs are so huge.
It is. It's amazing.
Just take for instance, I don't know the numbers that Brad's doing right next to my house. So he's building that.
Yeah.
He's making a subdivision for 33 homes.
Yeah.
But if you go there right now, he's got roadways cut. He's got fire hydrants in the ground, all the electricity in the ground. And, that stuff that's the burden on the developer.
I was going to say, people need to know that the city's not paying for any of that.
No, and
the
so-
city or the county or nobody's paying, other than the investor himself.
And developer has to develop the roads to the city standards.
That's right.
And then they get deeded over to the city after 2 years. They get deeded to the city
Right.
for the city to take care of. But the developer has to put all that stuff. That's not cheap. When you put sidewalks down and you put a road in and you put sewers in and you put all the electrical in, you put the water for fire hydrants, and you've got a construction crew with track hose and stuff. They cost a lot of money.
It's a lot of money to get that kind of development done.
Yeah.
And I've had lots of conversations with Brad, and we didn't mean to make a show about him, and
No.
I hope he doesn't mind. I don't think. But,
No.
But he's built a good business here.
Yeah.
And has a construction company along with others that are out there. But that particular subdivision is one that's been in the works for a while, and I've had several conversations with him about how that's coming and how it's going. And there were a lot of frustrations trying to get to where he even is at this point.
Oh yeah, listen, and I was probably part of that, Brad. Brad probably say, well, Keith was a big part of that. So they wanted to extend Fifth Avenue all the way to Wicker Creek Road.
Yeah.
Well, the residents in that area didn't want that to happen, so we signed a petition.
Yeah.
And went to the city council, and they've sort of stopped that, and that's. Kudos for that. And Brad, in reality, Brad doesn't need that street to go through to make that subdivision successful. I mean, if I'm building a nice house in that subdivision, I don't want a through street in there.
Yeah.
To be honest with you.
Yeah, I don't think it'll hurt home sales.
No, it won't at all.
On that, I don't really think it would at all.
And it gave him an extra lot too.
I'm a little bit knowledgeable of home sales. A little bit, and I don't think it'll hurt the home sales once it gets them going.
So you know what my vision for that place was?
What's that?
Go ahead. Is that somebody?
Yeah, somebody's calling us. Hey, good morning. You're on the Friends and Neighbors Hour with us.
Yeah, what's that new building they're building in front of the new hotel up there, motel? Brad Slater, I believe, is building that.
It's a doctor's office, a medical facility of some sort.
Yeah.
Okay. And what about the one across from the Memorial Gardens? Is that going to be another storage building?
That's storage units. And
Storage
in
units?
case you couldn't find an empty
what I
one.
needed to know. Thank you so much.
Yeah. Very good. Yeah. Yeah, that's what that is.
You know what? That's a waste of good land, in my opinion, to put storage units right there. I mean, if you think about where the industrial expansion is going on in Lawrence County, and you put storage units there.
But again, it's an investor who's willing to put up his money.
Yeah.
And for
that's great
to build something to make a profit.
Do we have that much stuff in America now?
Evidently, we do.
Do you have a storage unit that you got stuff in?
I do not. I do not.
See, I don't either.
I do not.
I can't park in my garage.
My wife won't let me keep nothing long enough to have a storage unit.
Well, mine would be the same way, but I'm sure my wife wants her side of the garage back soon.
I have a very limited space in our house where I can keep anything, and it better be out of sight.
So I get moved around a lot. I started off with a man room. I got moved out of there into my bedroom. I got moved out of there, and I've got this like 4x4 corner that I can stand in. No, I'm kidding. Yeah.
Let's see. I'm getting more messages. By the way, we mentioned it was Old Joke Day.
Yeah. Do you get some old jokes?
Well, I got one, and I'll go ahead and say this. Here's an old joke. Why did the jackass go to Washington?
I have no clue.
Family reunion. That came in on my text.
I like that.
That's pretty good.
That is so true.
That's pretty good. I'll have to admit.
true.
I'll have to admit. Let's see. What is he saying here? The orchard south of Summertown.
Okay, what's going on with that?
Well, I don't know. I know that it was on and then off, and it's on hold as far as the last I heard. I'm not sure what the current status.
There's a lot of speculation there. I don't know. I called the mayor. I said, "Can you give me the scoop?" And he doesn't know. And usually he's
the mayor.
Yeah, usually he knows. Our mayor, Lawrenceburg Mayor Blake.
I was going to say Summertown doesn't have a mayor.
So let me put my 2 cents worth in on that.
Put your 2 cents.
And Summertown's going to hate me, but look, I think Summertown needs to incorporate.
They probably do, really, because of the growth.
Yeah, and the reason I say that is that look at what was fixing to go in or near Summertown right there as far as the orchard goes, and it may still be on the go, but Summertown needs to be in a position where they govern their own future, if you know what I mean. So when you're just left in the county government, then you've got 18 commissioners, 16 of which could care less what's going on in Summertown, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
I think Summertown needs to be is big enough now where they could incorporate and govern themselves and have a little bit of control on what goes on in Summertown and how it happens. If that neighborhood goes in up there, this is just from the outside looking in.
Yeah.
Simply because I have a fear what might happen to Summertown.
Yeah.
I know Summertown during times like we just went through these past couple of weeks has an issue with water.
Sure.
The availability of water. So you put 100 more houses or 200 more houses or whatever it is on the ground there at the orchard or whatever, how does that impact the water? Well, when you come to say, okay, what does a government body have to say about this or do about this? Now you've got 16 of the 18 people there who doesn't really care what goes on up in Summertown.
Right.
And they're like, well, we need the development. Let's just get it done. And it doesn't take into consideration any the things that the way it impacts it, I guess.
Right.
And so anyway, I know that's a sore subject sometimes, but
yeah, within a city, Lawrenceburg in particular, as we're talking, there's zonings.
That's right.
There's different zonings for different purposes, that kind of thing. In the county, there is no zoning.
That's right.
There is no zoning whatsoever. And I guess, from a selling real estate perspective, there's good and bad to that.
That's right.
There's good
let me give you an example of that.
Yes.
Can I give you an example of that? So when I was mayor, they built a subdivision across from Story and Lee. And the one of the main reasons is because it's close to the city limits of Lawrenceburg, but it's just outside the city limits of Lawrenceburg. It didn't fall under the zoning ordinance, okay?
Yeah.
And that's cool. And so people went out there and they bought houses and they built and they got some beautiful homes down there. The bad part about it is that, it's outside the city limits and you could have a trailer park in your front yard. And when I talk about trailer park, I'm talking about a tow-around trailer park right in your front door. And there's nothing you can do about it.
A campground.
That's the best word for it. I'm sorry, campground. So if I had a house in that neighborhood, I would be up in arms. Like, I spent my hard-earned money here to build something that would be investment for me. And to me, seeing a campground right there, that in my mind, it takes away from my investment, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
So you fall subject to those things.
And they maintain that one very well.
They do. It looks nice.
It's very well kept, this, that, and the other, but at the same time, it's out of sync with the neighborhood.
Right. It just like it doesn't fit there.
Yeah, it's out of sync with the neighborhood that was built down there.
Yeah.
Which were, large lots and big, nice, fine homes.
Yeah.
And then there's right there at the entrance a whole different thing.
Yep. So when I'll blame the Blake Lay on this when he was mayor previously. So the state has passed new laws now. You can't do strip annexing. So Blake strip annexed all the way down to where the Baptist thing is there, just where the road that goes between Story and Lee and the Baptist thing. That's where the city limits ends down there.
So you hung him out to dry on that.
Yeah, and he also strip annexed all the way up to Community Road. And so basically the city limits runs about 100 feet or 150 feet off the center line of the road. So when you measure that distance back, you're in the county.
Our city wasn't the only city that did that. That was done all over.
No, and they've stopped that now.
And they did stop it.
And one of the reasons they stopped it is because when you're a municipality and now you're subject to paying city taxes. Then you are also what the state says. I guess I need to try to word this right. What the state says, a reasonable amount of time. The city has to provide you those services you're being taxed for, like sewer and water. And so one of the big deals is that, I don't know if you know this, but just south of where Graphtech is there, that becomes the Leoma Water District.
Yeah.
And so now you've got Lawrenceburg in that steps on top of the Leoma Water District. So you got a different water district. Same thing out at Burline Circle where I live. You got some people that's on the Northeast Water District, and some people, and I'm on Lawrenceburg. Yeah. And so there could be two different public utilities there.
Yeah. As you go out Prosser. As you go out.
Oh, here come. She's going to talk business.
Well, that's a different thing there.
Oh, okay.
But anyway, Gina, I'll have to call you back.
Hey, Gina.
She's not listening.
She's not listening.
No.
I forgot you were on the air.
We're on the air right now. Let's see. Well, let's see. I got another buddy that's texting. Let's see what we got here.
All right.
Here we go.
Okay.
Is there a way to get all of the abandoned vehicles and parked campers off the sides of the streets in Lawrenceburg?
There is a way. There is a city ordinance against that. So if you've got stuff like that, the codes department should be leaving notices. So there's a, and the process is dumbifying, I guess. I'm going to make a new word. Dumbifying.
I like that.
We as a city, you can go put a sticker on somebody's window. Then it's up to the courts on how they want to proceed. So, a judge can be as harsh as you got to do this, and we're going to fine you. We're going to fine you this amount. But typically, what happens is there's got to be a process before it even gets to court. There's got to be a process. You got to go notify them, and then when they don't respond, you got to notify them by certified mail. And then when they don't respond to that, then you can.
And we have a person who's responsible to do this.
Yeah, we do. We have a department that's responsible.
Yes.
And I believe Chris Bryant is over that department, and Chris does a great job. But Chris is a guy that you can call and say, "Hey, look, we need to get some things done here."
Yeah.
So
interesting.
And another thing I've noticed is that I drive down Robin Street, and it looks like there's a fix-it shop at somebody's house there on the corner. I mean, they've got cars stacked up there. I mean, I would hate to be that neighbor.
Yes, I noticed that the other day. I was passing through there, and I am relatively sure that that's in violation of some ordinance.
I would say so too. If it would be.
And I don't mean to be, mean to somebody who's trying to, I guess, carve out a living, but they're in the wrong spot.
I agree with that. You have to be. That's definitely zoned residential. You can't be doing a business out of that.
Yeah.
So that would be a knock on the door and say, hey, you can't be doing this here.
Yeah. It's going to be interesting. Hey, good morning. You're on Friends and Neighbors Hour. Hello. Hey, you there? Hello.
Ooh,
nobody there.
First butt dial of the day.
I guess.
But also, if you there's a place on Weekly Creek Road that looks like they're repairing heavy equipment just across from like the Santini's live there. There was a place there, and looks like they're
really?
They're burning stuff. They got a fire burned all the time, and then they got heavy equipment back there like they're regenning diesel motors or something.
I haven't seen that.
So I've heard some complaints and neighbors call. Even though I'm not mayor anymore, people still call me and say, "Man, we got some people over here that's revving diesel engines all in."
But see, once mayor, always mayor, I guess.
Oh yeah, and God bless whoever had chickens on Fifth Street. I got that call all the time. And the stray cats were always an issue. And so.
Well, I live out in the county now.
Yeah.
And there's no zoning. And we had a black cat to show up to beat up on our cats.
Yeah.
And my daughter's like, you got to do something. I said, well, they'll work it out. They'll work it out.
Yeah.
We'll just let them work it out. Anyway.
The cats have a way of doing that.
They will. But I think our poor cat got the worst end of it. When I saw him yesterday evening, I was like, oh, boy, you took a beating, didn't you, son?
We have some cats we got a little scope of woods between us and the development that's going on over there. And there's always been some feral cats around there.
Yeah.
And we don't mind them because, knock on wood, it may happen today. I've never seen a mouse in or near my house or anything like that. So
I don't have inside anything, but the two cats hang around outside. I got two dogs hanging around outside, and they keep most of the varmints run off.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Although I did go out to the dog feeder, and there was a possum laying up in the dog feeder. I'm like, you doggone it, get out of here. Had to get rid of him. Well, we got about 10 minutes left.
Yeah.
And this has been, we hadn't got as many phone calls as I thought we would get.
We got a lot of texts, though.
Other than my texting and my cell phone ringing. But I guess that's a good thing when my cell phone rings.
Yeah. But, Lawrenceburg is poised to see so much growth. When you look at the folks north of us and you look at the corridor, especially if you go on Google Maps and look at how things are developing, Lawrence County is the new frontier for the growth that's taking place in Nashville and Spring Hill and places like that. So.
Yeah.
And let me tell you, if those developers ever get their eyeballs down here, and a couple have, if those developers get their eyeballs down here, and that's why I'm saying this about Summertown, when they do put up a 600 house neighborhood, you will feel that. I mean, it's not something that just happens.
That I had a hard time. Even when that just first started, and it took off. Of course, we don't know what the status is now. I heard that it's kind of off.
Yeah.
I think one of the main COG investors actually passed away or something.
I've heard that.
And I don't know the details. I really, really don't. And a lot of what I've heard was totally rumor.
Yeah, and that's way.
And so
we'll go on that though.
But I'll say what the stuff that I heard that was supposed to be developed there, I never did really believe.
Well,
I heard just some of the most outlandish.
Oh yeah, like a Publix and
big, huge community
like
thing, and there was going to be all kind. I was like, well, I'll believe that when I see it.
Well, those areas are nice. Have you seen those areas that's been developed like that up in Spring Hill and places like at Franklin? You know where the Goose Creek bypass is?
Yeah.
Right
oh
there.
yeah. Yeah.
And they've got a nice little neighborhood right there. I don't know
right.
if you've ever, but it's like a self-contained little place. You can just live there, and it's like a utopia. You can walk to the grocery store, to the doctor's office.
Yeah, that's nice, and I wouldn't mind it being here. I was just like, I believe it when I see it.
Yeah, I just think the number one, if something doesn't happen. Now, look, I'm in the Gideons, and we give out scriptures to fifth graders, and Summertown has the largest population of fifth graders. And what that tells me, if they got the largest population of fifth graders, they probably got the largest population of sixth graders and seventh graders and people going into high school, which totally dumbfounds me. And this is what I'm saying about maybe my argument for Summertown again. Things are not getting cheaper.
No.
In my lifetime, I've never seen construction get cheaper. Now, I may be totally wrong about that. Somebody in the industry might say, "Oh yeah, well there was a period where it dropped down and you could build things for cheap." Well, I've never seen that. So
well, it may roller coaster a little bit, but its general direction is up.
That's right. So think about if Summertown had the representation that they needed. And the leaders said, okay, we're going to build a school up here. Look, if I was county executive, no questions. I'm going to quit adding on to that place. Let's build a new high school. Let's make a good one up there. Let's make it last, because it's not getting any cheaper. Yeah, the sticker price is outlandish, but you know what? Next year it's even more. So somebody has got to, somewhere in the near future, just say, okay, it's time. It's time for us to bite the bullet. And we know we're going to grow. Let's build on that, on the potential for growth, and let's put a new school up there, because when one of these neighborhoods lands up there, it's too late. It's too late to get that school built. Probably, in my opinion.
Well, I mean, that seems to be what happens to us a lot, though. Is we put that off until we just absolutely can't any longer, and then we patch it.
You're right. You're right.
And anyway. Not in every case, though, I guess. I mean, there's times when we did some good things. We keep referring, like Lawrence County High School, for instance.
Yeah.
Did you know Lawrence County High School is 50 years
Yeah, and
we've talked about this before. We talked about the new high school.
it's got to be. I've been out for 40 years, and it was there way before I got there.
We talked about the new high school. It was far from new.
It is.
It's far from new.
Yeah,
and that's the case in all of our high schools.
But it looks good though. From the road.
It looks good. Yeah, it looks good.
And it's like a prison, It's the first school I ever went to. It didn't have any windows, So I went to Kaufman where we had all windows.
All windows at Kaufman, yeah.
Yeah, and then
at New Prospect we used to have all windows too.
Yeah, Crockett,
and a lot of times they were open.
Yeah, we had them open.
We had them open. So they were open there. So anyway,
except for in the winter, then you had somebody downstairs beating on the pipes. It sounded like you had them old steam radiators. It was.
Do you remember any of your janitors' names?
Yeah, Papa Luke is what. I guess he was a Staggs. If I have to.
Yeah.
I never knew his last name, but
seemed like there was
Papa
one.
Luke.
Seemed like there was one we referred to as Peanut.
We're Kaufman.
Yeah.
And Grandpa.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Seemed like we did.
I think one of them he was a Lovell maybe, or I can't remember what his last name was, but yeah, you see them day in and day out.
Yeah. Yeah. Good deal.
Cecil was one.
Mm-hmm.
It's just
bus drivers. You had some.
Had some good bus drivers.
Good bus drivers. Hey, let's talk to somebody. Good morning. You're on the air with us.
Yeah, our janitor at Edgeridge was lazy.
Lazy. That was just a nickname, huh?
Yeah.
Oh, he left.
Oh, yeah, he
was lazy. Anyway, and so our cafeteria workers at New Prospect, they petted on us.
Oh yeah,
they petted on us and fed us, and I've talked about it too many times. But now, if you every once in a while, I'd get an extra roll.
Oh,
and the little pat of butter that was on a little thing.
Oh yeah, the pat of butter. Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
So I still refer to it as a pat.
A pat of butter.
Pat of butter.
How'd that happen?
I don't know.
Anyway.
When I was at Crockett School, sixth graders got to go back for seconds, and I said, I can't wait till I get into sixth grade.
Go back for seconds. That's right. We did.
Yeah,
we did go back.
They weren't going
to
throw it out,
There was a little time where a bunch of us boys was getting. We were just filling up on milk and rolls, chocolate milk and rolls.
It was good, wasn't it?
And then they put a stop to that and said, "You boys are not going to do that anymore."
That's basically all we had to drink was milk. I can remember later on, maybe Jungle Juice came into the school.
Yeah, we had you could get chocolate milk and you could get white milk.
Yeah, but I can't remember anything else. Could you drink water? What if you're allergic to milk? What did you drink in school? I don't think anybody was allergic back then.
Well, if they did, they just lived with it.
Yeah, they were that. Why is he itching over there?
What's wrong with him? Oh gosh, I'll tell a story right quick.
All right.
In the New Prospect cafeteria, we had tables, and at that time there were ketchup mustard bottles on the table.
Oh my goodness!
True story. I guess I could name his name. God rest him, he's not with us anymore. But Danny Cromwell.
Okay.
We were all sitting. There was a whole table full of us sitting around, and I don't know how old we were, but the mustard bottle was pretty full. And I don't know why or how he did it, or why he did it. I know how he did it, but I don't know why he did it. Danny grabbed the mustard bottle, raised it up over his head, and slammed it in the middle of the table, and it exploded.
Oh, gosh.
The top, it went to the ceiling.
Oh, wow.
We scattered like a covey of quail.
Can you remember when high school had carpet in the cafeteria?
Oh, yeah.
When I first got there. In fact, it was our class. If you look at the cafeteria now, it's got class of 86. That was our present to the school, was retiling the cafeteria, or tiling the cafeteria.
How about that?
Because it had, by the time I got there, Jeff, there was all kind of mustard and ketchup. That's what made me think of it.
Mustard and ketchup?
All in the carpet.
Oh, yeah. So, yeah. Had the lockers to the side over there in the lunchroom when I was there. I don't know if it was still there then. Like that now. Of course, they don't have it that way anymore.
Yeah.
Anyway, reminiscing a little bit, we're about to run out of time. And
my boss is calling me.
And your boss is calling me. Yeah. I've got business calls already this morning, and we'll get on top of that. But it's been the Friends and Neighbors Hour, brought to you by Keller Williams Hood Company. That's my little company, and we appreciate the support and business that we've been able to develop here. We really do. We love Lawrenceburg, love Lawrence County, love our friends and neighbors. And Keith, thank you again for coming in this morning on super short notice. Now, you're going to be here with us tomorrow, right?
Yeah, absolutely. We're going to have some fun tomorrow.
The Quick Mart Hour coming in tomorrow, and we might do more trivia or something.
Yeah, we're going to have fun.
We're going to do something anyway. We're going to do it all.
Give away some prizes.
What are we going to give away?
I don't know. We usually give away a certificate. I might give away a candy bar.
You're going to bring us something to snack from the store?
Absolutely. I'll do that.
All right. Well, again, it's been a lot of fun. We appreciate the folks that participated and played with us. We'll be back tomorrow, good Lord willing. Thank you, Keith.
And thanks to our friends in Florida and Michigan.
That's right. That's right. See you guys.
FBI director's turn. I'm Dave Anthony, Fox News. Christopher Wray about to testify 11 days after the Trump assassination attempt.
I'd love for this to be a better hearing than the one we had 2 days ago with the Secret Service.